Hello everyone, it's time for another episode of Am I the Asshole? If you like hearing Reddit stories, it would really support the channel if you could like or subscribe. Now, let's get started with our first story. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my Sil babysit my baby and being unwilling to hear her out? My husband and I had to be somewhere for our older child, so we asked my Mill if she could watch our 3-month-old son for a few hours. She said of course. Unfortunately, when we went to drop him off, she wasn't home, and one of my husband's sisters, Jane, 21, was instead. Apparently, my Mill wasn't going to be home for a bit, so she agreed to watch our son for some time. I immediately said no, because, well, Jane believes that babies don't feel anything. She thinks that they cry for no reason, and we shouldn't respond to their cries ever for whatever reason, and that not responding won't have any effect on them. She thinks that anything we do to babies during this period of their lives will have absolutely zero effect on them in the future. She will often call them mindless too. My husband called his mom, and we politely explained our concerns, and then hung up because we were extremely busy already, and now we had to find another babysitter as well. I figured that was it until Jane came over extremely upset and in tears, insisting that she's not a bad person and that she would never do anything to hurt any kid. She then accused me of discriminating against her because she doesn't want to have kids like everyone else in the family. I told her straight up that I don't give a crap if she wants kids of her own, but I don't like her thoughts on how to care for babies specifically. Instead of trying to understand me, she doubled down and said that her way of dealing with babies makes sense, and that I'm wrong, and I'm just extremely sensitive in nature. So of course I don't get it. She kept arguing with me about how to take care of my baby, so I just asked her to leave, and she blew up on me. My husband even told her to calm down, and that it's not like we're preventing her from seeing our kids altogether, but she just went "Phew and your dumbass kids" and left, which, okay? But my Mill is really annoyed with me because Jane is still very upset, and I'm just wondering if I'm the AH? I don't think I am, especially since no one lets her babysit for the same reasons. But I'm the first person to actually say no to her face and tell her why, instead of making up an excuse. And perhaps I was too harsh. Not the asshole at all. You have told her why. She disagrees with how you are raising your child, so she cannot be alone with them. End of story. Different if she understood where you are coming from and agreed that she would of course do things your way and then freaking out that you didn't trust her. She could be mad then. You would still be justified in the no because you know how she feels, and alone no one watching, she would test her theory. I have a living being that cries to indicate that something is wrong. This is the only way they communicate. They are unhappy. Your daughter thinks this is not true and their cries mean nothing. They should not be cared for when they are crying. The thought of my baby in distress and being alone in that is not okay with me or your son. I am not being unreasonable. Her way of thinking is not only not the universal consensus, but completely not what I want in my child's world. I am a little shocked that you would defend her having a temper tantrum about this situation, instead of telling her that, of course, we would not leave our child with anyone who could care less that they are crying and thinks they have no feelings. That is ridiculous. I need you on the baby side, not on the one acting like a baby because she's wrong and doesn't like that she's wrong. Then let them be mad. This is truly ridiculous. For others to be involved and not be backing you up 100% is astonishing. Wanted to add, so you are upset when your adult child who is fully able to take care of herself gets upset? Imagine how I feel about my 3-month-old helpless infant being in the hands of someone who wouldn't respond if they were upset. Not the asshole. You're asked your mother-in-law to watch your baby for a few hours, not your sister-in-law. If your mother-in-law told you up front her plans had changed, you could have made other plans. No one is going to leave their baby with a sitter whose judgment they do not trust. This whole situation may have been avoided with one quick phone call from your mother-in-law. If she's upset, it's on her. She failed to communicate with you, not the other way around. I told her straight up that I don't give a crap if she wants kids of her own, but I don't like her thoughts on how to care for babies specifically. Instead of trying to understand me, She doubled down and said that her way of dealing with babies makes sense and that I'm wrong. And I'm just extremely sensitive in nature, so of course, I don't get it. Thanks, but no thanks. No one is taking parenting advice from a childless 21-year-old who has the common sense of a doorknob. My husband even told her to calm down and that it's not like we're preventing her from seeing our kids all together, but she just went "Phew and your dumbass kids" and left. And she wonders why you won't let her babysit? Not the asshole. The research into infant development is extensive, and everything they experience is important. Tell Jane to do some actual research, and if she can find any science-based, peer-reviewed support for her view, you will at least listen. And tell mother-in-law that you care more about your innocent child's well-being than her entitled adult child's hurty feelings. That you will slay dragons to protect your child, and that sister-in-law is dangerous, and any reasonable person knows it. Mother-in-law owes you an apology for planning to leave your baby with a child abuser. Not the asshole. If you and your dumbass kids means that your kids never have to interact with her again. Why would she want to be around dumbass kids anyway? Sorry, sister-in-law. Sucks to suck. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.